Ladies and gentlemen, we are now recording.
When you said it was dangerous, I just thought that it is dangerous, and it's stupid.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Do you think it's a little dangerous?
I hope it isn't dangerous.
My writing is involuntary, like the beating of my heart.
Writing is a journey into the unknown.
You're coming dangerously close.
Anyway, don't you think it's dangerous to rely too much on...
You think it's dangerous?
You think it's dangerous?
Writing is dangerous.
A very powerful psychedelic and a little dangerous.
And we are back. Sorry we've been gone a couple of weeks. Everybody out there that's hanging out with us, I really
Turkey
appreciate
coma.
it. Yeah, turkey coma, turkey melanoma. I don't know what you get when you stick your head in an oven for 4 hours, but it's probably it's probably going to need a lot of stuffing to soak it up. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm still a little tryptophaning. So yeah, sorry we missed the last couple of weeks. I told you a little bit about the movie that I have the early steps of getting this thing launched for a Q1 2027 recording. And well, we had to do a little bit of jamming to get that thing kicked off. Kyle came through, of course, came through in a pinch. He's the best, best co-host you could ever ask for, best co-worker, best associate producer you could ever have on your team. And
Check me out on IMDb. No, kidding.
soon enough. And yeah, so it's just been the holidays. I apologize. But here we are now. So thanks. Kyle, what's going on with you, man?
God, the same old, same old. That holiday rush kind of kicked my ass this year, but yeah, hanging in there. Really kind of taken to heart. We had this conversation probably on here and then off here just about, like if you want people to pay attention, like you really need to approach feature length content. And before that had my head in so many like short film ideas and scripts I've been working on, but I've really just like shifted my focus towards not just like feature length scripts, but like what can I be working on right now that is like putting shit on the screen and like getting a feature length presentation together. And yeah, it's really kind of changed my whole mindset and how I approach what I'm working on, how I think about what we're working on. So thanks for that. But that's really
Sure.
where I've been at.
I'm glad you're ingesting all this in such a way, because I scroll through Reddit. I don't read any of them anymore, but I'll scroll through the screenwriting on Reddit and it'll be, I have a 17-page script. Will somebody read it? I'm like, why? What's the point of a 17-minute movie? What are you going to do with that? You're going to play festivals, and then you're going to spend as much making that as you would if you made a pilot episode of something. And even though, yes, I know we can make TV shows for YouTube now, but it's still not the same as making a real show. TV, independent television is still just sure, AI it, whatever you're going to do, but it's still not a standard. It's not a unit of measurement, like a 30-minute or an hour or a 90 to 120 page script. That's so
And also, you look at all the work it takes to get that first episode done, and then people, it's like, well, now we want the season, and then the work that takes. Now you're doing more than a film, and then what do you get when you do that? What's the next season? Like it never stops.
But
So,
the thing about that is though is that I'll also see on there where it's like I'm on the 7th episode of my sci-fi series and I'm stuck and I'm like, well, you should have just written one, like
yeah.
because you write the one, you get people interested, and then they go, okay, we're gonna bring in 5 other writers. And when you watch a TV show and there's producer, 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 producer. Those are all the writing room people. And the order that they're in is their seniority in the writer's room. And then the last one that says written by is the person who sat there and typed it all up. And they kind of take turns on that, so that everybody can get that credit because,
Hmm.
instead of it just being the big, spreadable kind of a credit. But that's what and largely the way that works is that each writer is in charge of a character. So that character will stay consistent with that writer's point of view, that writer's worldview in writing, anyway. So it's just once you get into I mean, an average 30-minute TV show costs $1 million. Like if you're getting on there, you're going to spend money to make money because you're trying to get subscribers or commercials. So it's different.
Hmm.
It's a different business model than making a movie. You're also, every episode of a show is an advertisement for next week's episode of a show, kind of like Marvel movies. Every Marvel movie is an
Hmm.
advertisement for the next one. They totally just episodically, changed how movies are being made. They're not sequels, are they? Like they just happen
Hmm.
to all keep happening, or at least they did. So, yeah, if you're right, if you have an idea for a pilot, just put the work into the pilot and make that pilot undeniably good and submit that and meet people and don't try to live your life based on winning a contest or getting a blacklist score because the funny thing about the blacklist score, I had an 8 on the blacklist. I talked to a friend of mine in LA who he wrote for Crank Yankers, he wrote for The Daily Show or the At Midnight. He's a comedian and he wrote a lot of sketch stuff. And I told him, yeah, man. And he showed me a script that he wrote and that was pretty good. And I told him that I got an 8 on the blacklist, and he said, "What is that?" And this is a guy who's been in Hollywood for 20 years. Like, it's a student thing. It is a student thing. And when I got that 8 on the blacklist, because I don't do Twitter, one of my classmates posted that Twitter that Blacklist put that script. It was called The Poor Dope, and this was about 3 years ago. And they posted it as weekend reading. Download, if you're a member or whatever, download the script, download Johnny Neal's script for The Poor Dope. And I'm like, holy shit, that's cool. And then you can check on the blacklist. And I'm not trying to talk shit about the blacklist. I think that at certain points in your development, that kind of validation is super important. When I got that 8, I cried. I was like 6 weeks from graduation, and I had typed it up to enter it in Austin Film Festival because I wanted to enter a contest before graduation. And then I went, well, I'm going to send it off to the blacklist. And as I've said before, it was 47 pages for a half-hour sitcom. It was, and I had written it in one because I was working on my final. And I just wrote it in one like 14-hour sitting. I revised this second semester script to submit it, and I got an 8. And I'm like, oh, yay, I got an 8. And then I got a 7. And I'm like, oh, because if you get an 8 or above, you get 2 free evaluations on the same script. You can't bank them for another submission. So a week later, I get a 7. And they liked the same things as the first guy. And then a couple of days after that 7, and 8 is in the top 6% of the thousands of scripts they get. Top 6%, not even top 10. And then the 7 was top 10. And I'm like, okay, man, well, cool. I'm going places. And then a couple of days later, I got my third rating and it was a 5. And I'm like, huh, I'm not for everybody. And and that was a really good lesson. Like, it's a crapshoot. There's not even a dartboard. You're just throwing darts. You don't know who your target is. The person who reads it, they either get it or they don't. And the fact that this script was so sloppy, when I reread it later and after graduation and my mind had settled down and I wasn't, freaking out, it was like, oh, they gave me an 8 for this. It's like, well, because they found things that they liked, they knew how to say the encouraging things. And
Hmm.
I really enjoyed those encouraging things. They compared it to Zola and early Coen brothers. And I'm like, okay, that's all I've ever wanted to hear. And so, but that 5 lowered me to like a 6.1. So now I was no longer in that top 10%, like suddenly
Mhm.
I was way down, and it was like, well, I'm not going to keep sponsoring this. That said, what triggered all this was that it'll have things of saying how many people read your script, and it would be industry or other readers, other writers, And I had like 16 people, industry readings of the script. It didn't say who they were, so you couldn't do a follow up. But it was like, okay, your script was checked out here, checked out here. Nobody ever went in and put extra notes or anything on the page. Not that I expect them to, but it was. So it's like, okay, there's yes, people may see your thing, but it's 11,000, 10 or 11,000 scripts floating in that swamp, and if yours is good, well, next week there's going to be another one that's just as good as yours. So that's going to be the one that's on Twitter, and you're going to be yesterday's news, unless maybe you got 3 consecutive 8s, maybe, but I just don't think that that's the way it works anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting discovered anymore. Everybody's just working their ass off and making something for themselves if they're smart. Because if you're just waiting for somebody else to validate you, good for you. Good luck. But, just do the work, man.
The cavalry's not coming.
The
You're
cavalry,
the cavalry.
you're not, nobody's waiting for
I
you.
saw that from a Duplass brother. Sorry.
So UT, yeah, it's not so much that they're not going to discover you; they're just not looking for you. There's just too many. There's too many people that are hustling for them to go, oh, these guys who entered a contest are worth me digging out. They paid $100. It's like and $30 a month to keep the goddamn thing up on the screen. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I'm not saying it's a scam. I won't say that ever. I won't say that about film festivals or contests of any sort. I think that they are very important when you are at that student bridge to I want to do this for real. There's that point of how do I just get feedback, cold reading feedbacks, because very likely you've used up all your favors of all your friends. Very likely most of your friends don't know how to read a script, and then so they're reading it and going, good, you did all that, great for you. Wow, 30 pages. Wow, 100 pages. That's good for you, man. Good job. Good, you did it. You did it, man. When's the movie coming out? I want to be in it, and it's all just job compliments that are fine, but they're not going to amount to anything. I mean, they might. Listen, my opinions, I don't even care about my opinions. So don't get hung up on, oh, Johnny said this or that, because my opinions change all the time. But I do the work, and so that's the important part. So let me see where you got anything to add to that, Kyle?
Oh no, just kind of a fun little fact. I entered my first art contest in seventh grade art class, and then all through junior high, high school, all through college, I did contests every single year. I never won one. Eventually, I got like some participation awards, because I'd be like president of the art club and stuff. But I never won a single award until advertising awards, like it became a professional and stuff. And that's probably a good thing. I would have probably like gotten first place and been like, I won, and then just gave up.
Then
But
you've
man,
just been
it made
waiting
me.
by the door, right? Waiting for a big dump truck full of money to come dump it out on
Mhm.
your yard. Well, I'm working at the art factory now. It's all
Yeah.
laid out for me. Yeah. 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 You get it. You get it.
I think I learned more from not winning anything than I did from. In fact, because when I did start to win, that's when I started to fuck off. I start slacking.
But guess what? It didn't discourage you. It didn't make you go, I guess I suck. This external
Mhm.
validation from the faculty is not coming my way. I guess I suck. My fifth grade teacher doesn't like me as much as I thought she did. So
Exactly.
so, and look at you. You're a professional. You've got your own business and you're kicking ass. And you're thirsty for knowledge. You're thirsty to expand your mind, your consciousness, and your world of art, your entire worldview of art. And I think that's fantastic. It's never too late. Just keep going. If I look a little
Oh
red, it's
yeah.
because the heaters are on, man. I don't like heaters. I look like your shirt. I turn into a big red splotch when the heaters are on. So I'm not blushing. There's nothing weird going on that's embarrassing me.
Speaking of shirt, show off
Dun,
that
dun,
that
dun, bum,
beautiful little
bum.
number you got on there.
Look at that. Writing is
Oh,
dangerous
I would
wear.
I
Bum,
would
bum,
have worn
bum.
mine tonight too, but I got a big toothpaste streak
I
down it,
We
so
should have
it's in the
coordinated. I
wash.
should have called. I should have called.
Hmm.
Yeah, my wife
Yeah.
had these printed up for us. She had one made for herself too, and that was my Thanksgiving gift to Kyle. He was very happy. And look how good it looks big. Didn't they do a great job? I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
It's
give a
like a
shout out
Union
to
Jack
Sticker
you can
Mule.
wear.
You know what? It's a great sweatshirt. It's a shout out to Sticker Mule. My
Hmm.
wife got them from Sticker Mule, and they did a fantastic job on the visual. And it's a really nice shirt. I usually can't wear t-shirt collars or anything. They just I I was told
Hmm.
by a psychic about 30 years ago that in a previous life I was either hanged or beheaded for either abusing my power or speaking up to power that was being abusive. That was as close as he could get. And the fact that my entire life I've never been able to wear t-shirts without it driving me completely insane, I was like, yeah, I believe that. And also, why when I do have to confront somebody, I'm a little bit like, I don't really like confronting people. That's why I like to write. I just want to, I'll put it in I will word a strong missive and put it in the post. So, uh, so I'm going to shrink us down and I'm going to call up the pages that we wrote so we can stay on our schedule. And now I go to share screen, right?
Yep.
Bloop. Okay, now I'm confused. You are screen sharing. Oh, okay. Let me move this over. Hold on. I don't want to deal with Adobe products with an Adobe products Yelp review right now. Okay, so okay, here's what it's worth, everybody. I have not looked at this since we wrote it. Hello, Homer. There's my Homer. This is something I do. I For the last 25 years or so, I take my little Homer, casual Homer, whenever I travel, and I take his picture. I've got pictures of him at Jim Morrison's grave. I've got pictures of him in Vietnam and Thailand, all over. This is at Monument Valley. If you ever do a West Coast drive, go to Monument Valley. It will blow your mind. It's as close to getting to Mars as you will ever get. It's pretty fascinating, and it's where the Roadrunner happens. So, yeah, so and I have a bathroom. I've got like 15 of these framed, different places, and the deal is when you put them all together, it's like, oh, it's a dream. Homer's having an underwear dream, and so he's in all these places. So just thought I'd tell you that while he's up there because he follows me around everywhere. Okay, so this is what we wrote. You want to do the honors? Or you want me to do it?
Go ahead,
Okay.
because then you can scroll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So let's go to the title page. Totality, written by Johnny Neal and Kyle Scott, based on Totality by Johnny Neal. I'm giving you my phone number. Exterior, KARK, Fayetteville TV station parking lot, night. Joel Kittredge, 38 male, talks to a camera equipment as he loads it into his news van. Joel. Batteries charged, check. Muffs for the mic, check. Mics have muffs, SIM cards, external drive, hot shoe, check, check, check. Joel checks his watch, a solar-powered satellite wave GPS digital G-Shock, rugged. Now, I want to remind you, the reason this is in caps is on Final Draft. This is, you see here, it's a shot. So when you see an all caps line like that, that means that that's a shot. The reason I have to say that is because I would get contest, readers' notes. I would pay for the coverage whenever I would enter a competition, and I would get people to go, "Why did you make that sentence all caps?" And I'm like, "Because that's the format, dude." So I know you're reading 5 scripts a day to get a festival pass, but know what the goddamn hell you're reading. So watch face reads 4:56 a.m. Okay, so this was something that occurred to me as soon as we got off the air. I need to put the date. So because that's what's in the short story. In the short story, it's Joel Kittredge checked his watch, 4:58:12 on August 22nd, 2017. That's an important date because that was the date of the
Eclipse.
of the eclipse. It's
The
4:56.
totality.
Is that another colon for 12 for the seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. 4:58, 12.
I mean, you could put a 0 in front of that 4 if you wanted to read
Oh,
like the.
perfect. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
045612. And then it's 08 22 2017. Headlights sweep across Joel and the van as a zippy sedan pulls into the parking lot. The car parks next to Joel. Out hops Troy West, 28 male, a handsome segment reporter. He holds a flat box of donuts, a 32-ounce KARK's insulated mug, and his Channel 37 KARK blazer on a wooden hanger. Troy's own smiling face is blown up on the side of the van. Now, does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it's a newsman. Okay, good. Um, I didn't want it to sound like somebody who drove up with a shotgun and spread his face on the panel. Troy, I'm not late, am I, boss? I told you, talent, you're never late when you bring the donuts. Now, see, I got a comma there, and most of the time I leave my commas out. The Astro Engineers, okay, the Astro Engineers said this shindig starts at 12:45. Pack it up, boss. We're burning daylight. Troy's feeling his oats a little bit there. Troy opens the passenger door and steps into his seat. He hangs the jacket on a hook. He pops the donut box open. Joel slides the side door shut and climbs behind the wheel. Interior, exterior, the van in the parking lot, continuous. So interior, exterior means we look we can cut back and forth. Don't do interior, exterior for more than a couple of seconds, right? Like you just want to establish that they're moving. You ever notice when you see see somebody driving a car in a movie, and then they pull into a parking lot, they cut, and then they're suddenly in frame, like you don't see them get out of the car, like like that's a stuntman driving that car, like they don't want to insure the actor to drive the car in. They're sitting on a trailer when they film that. Also, this is something that I was told by one of our guest lecturers. I'll think of her name in a minute. She said, "Don't put car scenes unless you absolutely have to." She'll go through a script and go, "Let's make them walk through the park." Like let's not have a conversation in a car because they're a pain in the ass to shoot. They require a sound stage, etc. Okay, I'm digressing. As I said before, I think in layers. So interior, exterior, the van in the parking lot, continuous. The cab light shuts off as Joel shuts his door. He starts the van. He sips from his own K-Ark mug. He grabs a donut. Burning daylight. Listen to you. Joel puts the donut in his mouth and steps on the gas. Interior van day. The two cruise on a state highway in morning traffic. I'm pretty excited to cover this total eclipse. I've seen a handful of partials, but never a totality, solar or lunar. Troy, you can watch the last one on my phone. I'm going to look you can watch the last one on my phone. It's going to look the same. Troy is not impressed. He's young and pretty. Joel is fascinated with the way the world works. Troy holds his phone up at Joel. The screen shows a solar eclipse. The sun is a black circle with a glowing corona. Joel, you're going to go blind. Joel waves the phone away and reaches for a fresh donut. Exterior, Katy Depot. Okay, look at that. We're halfway through the second page and we've already driven 4 hours. Exterior, Katy Depot, day. The Katy Depot is in Sedalia, Missouri. The wide space is filled with people of all ages in many separate groups. The parking lot is surrounded by school buses and RVs. A hippie drum circle beats a steady thrum under the occasion. Okay, so we got school buses and RVs. Let's add telescopes, old men, middle-aged men with telescopes are not are setting up. Don't say are setting up, just say set up. Leave out all the ing words you can. Middle-aged men with telescopes talk to whomever will listen. All right. Maybe it's not, it's whoever. Okay. Interior van day. Okay, so that's our shot. That's our establishing shot. Let me put the hippie drum circle. I think that says a lot, right? You want to do it minimum. So a hippie drum circle, that tells you where you are. You know, you're at an Eeyore birthday party or something. You've got a bunch of freaks. You're tailgating a Dead show. Only the Dead show is going to be a cosmic event. Mm-hmm. Interior van day. So now we're back inside. So let me put continuous. Yeah. Troy, looks like the word got out. This is going to make for a great story. Look at all these people. Joel's excited. Exterior, Katy Depot parking lot. Joel parks the van in a row with the other vans. Joel checks his watch. Watch face reads 9:35. 16. Let me go 17. Now, what would be fun is to go back through and maybe look into some numerology on there. You know, maybe there's some kind of weird cosmic thing there. Troy, I'm going to walk around a little bit while you set up. How about I'm going to walk around? I'm going to go look for color. I'm going to find I'm going to find some color while you set up. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I can see where it might be misunderstood. Just the phrasing.
Okay, yeah. I just think of like a color commentary on the
Or like,
sports.
I'm gonna go find some personality around here.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go find some. Yeah. Or how about I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go find some faces.
Some characters, yeah. I like faces.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find some faces while you set up. How about?
I'm gonna go find some colored. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna go find some ass. You need me? You need me? I'm gonna go find some faces while you set up. How's that?
There you go.
How about you need me, boss? That gives me no orphans. Dismiss Grammarly. You need me, boss? I'm going to go find some faces while you set up. Troy slips into his blazer, checks his teeth in the mirror. Joel, go butter up those hippie girls over there. Find me a poet. Good angle, boss. That's a pretty good line. Like, go butter up those hippie girls, pretty boy. You ought to say pretty boy. How about go over those hippie girls over there, talent.
There's no HR departments in movies.
Or bathrooms. Good angle, boss. Troy walks into the crowd. Other news teams jockey for their positions. Joel sets up a second camera on a tripod. Katy parking lot, later. The crowd is fuller. Soap bubbles float overhead. Little girls wave multicolored ribbon wands. An older professor type shows off his big telescope. Okay, I can take that off because we already mentioned that in the setup. That's another thing. I don't say uh, if you introduce something, get the introduction over with and then move on. Like, don't say, Bob walked into the room. Hey, everybody. Bob was wearing jeans and a shirt. You know, it's like Bob walks in the
Mhm.
room. He wears jeans and a shirt. Hey, everybody. Like, don't make somebody have to go, oh, wait, who's what? Now I got to reimagine him saying, hey, everybody, because I had him wearing Bay City Rollers pants. Joel is ready, camera on his shoulder. He aims at Troy. Troy continued into handheld mic. Let's put that. Sibilance. Is that? Oh, 1B. Sibilance. Mic check 2. Mic check 3. How we sounding, cameraman? How we sounding? Let me see. How we sounding, cameraman? How we sounding? Joel into headset. Lima Charlie talent. Lima Charlie. You look good in this light. You look really good in this light. Troy. I look good in any light. So does your mom. Hello, Fayetteville. I'm talking to you from Sedalia, Missouri. I like that. He like busts his balls right before. I forgot what we wrote, everybody. That which is the joy of writing, right? Like, oh, surprise yourself every day. He busts his balls right before they go on mic. You know, click. Hello, Fayetteville. I'm talking to you from Sedalia, Missouri, so that we can bring you the solar eclipse totality, so that we can bring the solar eclipse totality to you. A voice shouts over a din in the crowd. It's starting. Joel looks at his watch. Watch face reads 12:25, 12:45, 25. The crowd goes quiet. Viewing contraptions are raised. Welding hoods. How about cardboard? Cardboard viewing contraptions. I think everybody knows what those are, and that narrows it down.
Yeah.
Those little, yeah. Cardboard viewing contraptions are raised. Welding hoods go on. Couples hold hands. Kids, how about welding hoods? How about just welding hoods? Welding hoods drop.
Man, I remember when I finished welding class, none of my friends wanted their hoods. So for the longest time, I had like four of them.
Did you learn how to weld?
Yeah, I took 2 years of vocational welding.
Oh, wow. Nice. I took it in FFA class, but once, not wasn't even a semester, it was just a lesson.
I wanted to make metal sculptures and stuff to skateboard on.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the whole class was about like getting a job in metalworking, which I'm like, actually, if I'd cared more about money back then or been smarter, I should have probably done that.
Well, it's still a cool skill and it's relatively cheap, for an arc welder, for like a home version of an arc welder,
Hmm.
as opposed to like, and I also worked as a welder's assistant on a pipeline the summer after I graduated before I went in the army. And yeah, those big rigs are quite a deal, but you can get those little ones at Home Depot for like $600.
Oh,
And
that's not bad.
yeah, it's an arc welder, um, adults raise their kids sit on sit on shoulders. The air is electric. I I don't like going. You can go 4 lines, But if you go over 4 lines, people just look at it like, is the whole thing going to be like this? Um, so it shouldn't be bigger than your finger. That's how many lines. Type. Ooh, look how many lines you can put in a thing. Break it up if you go too long. Intercut between phases of the eclipse and the faces in the crowd. The eclipse is seen through dark glass. The moon is a small bite out of the bright white circle. The bite grows. Soon the sun is completely covered by the moon. The corona glows hot. Without looking, Joel presses the timer function on his presses the watches without look. Okay, how about just I could just take out the without looking. Watch face reads 1:51:51. The sky goes dark, the cicadas go quiet, the crowd is in awe. Oh, I don't like this. How about let's just stop it at faces. See how much better that looks? If you have a little fucking orphan there, it's just like, you didn't really focus on this. You need to take advantage of every space. If you're going to use part of a line, use the whole line. If using the whole line
Mhm.
is too much babbling, then tighten it up.
You
Watch
know,
face
when
reads.
I was just gonna say we used to have to do that. We used to do like typesetting in design school, and they would look for orphans, but they wouldn't look for just blatant typos. So man, I'd be removing periods and just like putting paragraphs together and like all the dirty tricks to like just make the stuff wrap up nicely.
That's so funny. People will do that on their scripts. They'll change the font so that they'll have a lower page count, and then they'll mail it off, and it'll be like, "This isn't acceptable. This isn't the Hollywood standard." So yeah, you can't. That's really funny. I like how scrappy that is. The eclipse is seen through dark glass. Okay, I already read that. Joel presses the watch. The sky goes dark. Cicadas go quiet. The crowd is in awe. Okay, so let's see. So I said early that I wasn't going to write on this except in class. I was doing some research on things that philosophers have said about eclipses, and it made me kind of do a little bit of uh, just making some notes. So my note here is shot. Joel's watch face flickers and goes black for a moment, and then the screen goes to a blank gray. Dissolve. Cut to okay. So what I want to say here. Okay. Joel takes a welding glass lens from his shirt pocket to stare at the eclipse. Joel takes a welding glass lens from his shirt pocket. Raises it to his eyes. How do I put this? Okay. You know what? How about Joel raises a welding glass? Who cares where he gets it? From his shirt pocket. Shot. I'm going to put a shot here. So did I say the Corona's going? Yeah, the Corona glows hot. Shot. The Corona reflects off the welding glass. Joel drops the glass for a second. shot. The watch face flickers. Boop. How about Joel drops the glass for a second, drops the glass from his eyes. Okay, that's better. The watch face flickers. Uh, Joel repeats this action. The watch flickers again. You know what? Let's make that a shot. No, that's too many shots all of a sudden. Joel repeats the action and the watch is in the shot. I think that would be, I could, okay. Okay, that's okay. Joel repeats this action. The watch flickers again. Watch face goes black. The moon slides off the circle of the sun. The false night gives way to an afternoon light. The crowd erupts into applause. Okay, the watch face goes black. And then, how about the watch face goes blank and then turns? No. What do we want? Does it go black or does it go blank? I would say I don't have my.
I'm imagining like when you see somebody's like the iris of their eye get fried, you know?
Yeah,
I'm like that would be cool if there was some way to like visualize the watch doing that, but for a moment it almost looks like an eye that's going completely white. Maybe
I
getting
like that.
too Tony Scott on it.
No, I like that. I like that. Yeah, watch face goes uh black. How about watch face flashes black? Or it just flashes. Watch face flashes and goes blank silver. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Yeah, like something happens. I really want something to happen to tie the watch going. Now, this was not in the short story. I want it to be tied to him looking at the eclipse. Bah, eureka. What if it's a smartwatch that's hooked up to his pulse and all that other stuff? Like what if it's not
Hmm.
a G-Shock? What if it's or I mean G-Shocks do that too, probably, right? There's probably a biometric G-Shock out there.
Oh yeah,
I
I'd
mean,
imagine.
they're uh you got to get your steps, man. Just because it's the
Mhm.
end of the world doesn't mean you don't get your steps in. The moon
Mhm.
slides off the circle of the sun. The false night gives way to afternoon light. The crowd erupts into applause. Noisemakers and party horns sound like New Year's Eve. Strangers hug each other. So that is what we wrote last week. Not too many tweaks. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Now, interior van, scene heading, interior. Did I call it the news van or just the van? What did I call it before? The van.
Mhm.
Interior, the van, day. Troy drives. Joel sits on the floor in back with headphones. I'm probably going to have to go through and capitalize a bunch of props. The rule is you capitalize the props the first time you introduce them. The reason why, so that people know they need to get some props.
Mhm.
Just like you capitalize when you meet somebody so that they know, oh, I guess we got to cast this guy. So Joel sits in the floor in back with his headphones and laptop. He raw footage of the event is on plays on the screen. How about plays on the screen and fast forward? Fast uh, event footage plays fast forward on the screen. And then I have Troy, kind of like this. Uh, Troy, you made me say some pretty corny, you made me say some pretty corny science philosophy stuff back there. Joel's the puppet master. So you better make me look good. So you better make me look good, boss. That's not a very good sentence. How about you had me saying, yeah, this is a good. Now, this is where you can put your ing words. How about you had me say some, how about, you had me spout some pretty philosophical, jibber jabber. How about what? You had me spout some pretty philosophical nonsense back there, boss. How about nonsense? Are you watching Landman?
I'm not.
Dude, it's the best show on TV.
I
So,
I have a suggestion for this line.
okay, tell me.
Uh, you're getting pretty comfortable with your hand up my ass, working me like a puppet.
That's pretty good. Like to start with that?
Well, instead of you had me saying some
Yeah.
nonsense, saying like, you know, pretty comfortable
How
with your
about,
hand up there, working
or
me like a
you had your
puppet.
hand way up my ass back there. I was talking about stuff I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't even know what you had me saying.
Yeah, something to that
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah. You had your hand way up my. I love that. I love it. You had your hand way up my ass back there. Back there, boss. I didn't even know what I was. I didn't even know half the stuff I was saying. I didn't even. I didn't even know. I didn't even know what half the stuff I was saying was. I would like. That's fine. Let's make Troy when he talks off camera. He's a little bit of a dope. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
uh, how about, okay, let's take that out too. Your hand was way up my ass back there, boss. I didn't even know it. Half the stuff you had me saying meant. I don't even know what half that stuff meant. How about that? I don't even know what half of that's I don't even know what half the stuff I don't even know what I said. I don't even remember what I said. You had your hand way up my ass back there, boss. So you better make me look good. Let's just leave it at that. So you better make me look
Huh.
good. So make me look. How about just so make me look good, okay? How about that? Instead of you better. So make me look good, okay?
What about sound good? Because he's already said I'm the face, you know?
Yeah.
So he knows he looks good. So make me sound good.
Make me sound smart.
There you go.
How about make me sound smart, okay? Look at that. You had your hand way up my ass back there, boss. So make me sound smart, okay? Look at that. Look what we did. We did it. We found the right sentence. That's great. Is no. Okay. And then uh do, 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 do. And then Joel is annoyed. Joel, okay, let me give an action line. Joel pulls his headphones off. Parenthetical, annoyed. What? Like an angry dad in the back. What? Uh, Troy, just asking how it's going, man. Just asking how it's going, boss. Just asking how it's going, boss. Like he talks shit when he's got the headphones on. Joel looks at his watch. Joel looks at his watch. The screen is still. How about Joel looks at his blank-faced watch?
Mm.
He presses all the buttons, shakes his wrist, holds the watch to his ear. Damn it. Oh. Okay. Exterior. Scene. Oh, well, look at that. I didn't even have to put scene. As soon as I put exterior, it formatted it correctly. Exterior. KF. Ba-dum. Well, how about what did I say at the beginning? Oh, here we go. Parking lot. Look at that. Look, we're moving right along, man.
Oh, yeah.
Parking lot. Day. Van pulls up in front. Joel jumps out to run through the doors. Oh, do, deep, do, deep. The van screeches to a halt in front of the main doors. Joel jumps out with his laptop and satchel. He runs inside. Boom. Then I don't have the quotes. I didn't print out the quotes. So maybe I can get back to that, or we can just wing it. Okay. Interior. K-A-R-K Studio. Day. Joel hustles down a hallway to a control room, ducks into the door, jumps through runs through the door. Runs through the door. The engineers free a seat for him. Screens flicker. Get a little atmosphere in there. Fill in that gap. Okay. Now, problem is, okay, there's no 100% way to do this, but let's do this. People will ask, what if you have different locations within the same place? Like if you're in a store and you want to go from the dressing room to the cash register, do you have to put a whole new slug line? So let's say KARC Studio Day, and then do this, control room. Well, no, hallway.
Does that get a continuous at the beginning?
Oh, that's a good idea. God damn it. That's the scene. Okay. Hallway. Joel hustles down a hallway to a control room, runs through the door. The engineers free up a seat for him. Screens flicker. Oh, boom. Okay, so we want to go from the control room to the news anchor desk. I think that the news anchor desk needs another, since this is all continuous, track shot of Joel running through there. Let's do another slug line for engineers free a seat for him. Screens flicker. Joel plugs in. What are they? What would he bring in? Like, what would it be like a disc, something? I mean, there's some. It's not all wireless, right? There's got to be some kind of digital drive. How about a digital drive? Like a.
Yeah, he'd either have a drive or he might have a card on him.
I want it to be
Um,
bigger than just a little stamp, though. You know what I mean? Like,
well, if it was just like one of those, he'd have several of them. So it could be like a little zip case with cards in it, or it could be a drive that's the size of, maybe a cell phone or a few cell phones
yeah,
stacked on each
yeah,
other.
exactly. What do you call that? Like a flash drive? Not a flash drive.
A
Uh,
drive. Yeah,
a
just a
drive.
drive.
Joel
External drive.
External drive. Joel plugs in a drive. Um, Scene, heading, K-A, K-A-R-K newsroom. Okay, now we got some characters we got to name. Um, okay. Um, what's our anchorman's name? Did we do that in the story? I don't think we
Oh,
did.
good question.
And look at that. In the story,
Cliff.
the news. No, I just have them. No, I never named any of them. That's one of those the cheating. Look at that. Okay, we're on page 5 of the story, and we're on page 6 of the short story. So we're on page 5 of the script. That's nice because
Yeah.
the script is um, 14 pages. That's good to know that we're not going to run out of time. Or at this point, we're not going to run out of
Running
pages.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna crash and burn on that. KARK newsroom day. Um, oh, Troy stands behind the anchor desk with what's a good anchorman name? Mitch.
Oh,
Mm,
yeah. Love Mitch.
Mitch with uh
Mitch the snitch with the gossip.
how about Mitch Rockwell? Something,
Oh,
Mitch Rockwell.
off the top of the dome. I would love to challenge you, but I really like that name.
And
I don't
I'm
know.
going to say
I
Mitch
thought of
is.
Cliff, but I like Mitch more than Cliff.
I
I
just
think we're in
watched
the
the
same
Robert Mitch.
ballpark, though.
I watched the Robert Mitchum movie last night. I've just been thinking about Robert Mitchum all day. Uh,
They did a biopic?
no, it was just a movie. I've
Oh,
been watching a bunch of the noir movies that are on TCM on HBO, and
oh,
there
cool.
I've watched some good ones, and it's like, oh yeah. And it was it was his last. It was called The Locket, and it was Robert Mitchum's. He had already been nominated for Best Supporting Actor for the story of G.I. Joe, and this was his. So he was about to blow up, and this was his last supporting actor role, and he played an artist, which was interesting. Um, he was still Robert Mitchum. Um, and it was pretty cool to see him in an early role where it was a significant early role, not just a little supporting role. But goddamn, Robert Mitchum was the best, man. He was just. I have his picture over my door from the Big Steel from a 1947 8x10. So every day when I go out to my truck, I look up at Robert Mitchum on my way out of the house. Like, all right,
Hell yeah.
Saint Mitch, Saint Pug. And he's
Yeah.
on the cover of the pitch deck, thanks to you, genius that you are. You don't need a goddamn
Oh.
best artist in 7th grade. What are those guys doing now? Mitch Rockwell. Let's say he's 52. Race doesn't matter, so I'm not going to put anything. Race Mitch Rockwell, 52. Um, how about with Anchorman, Mitch Rockwell? So now he's the Anchorman. You can imagine what he's wearing.
Yep.
Troy stands behind the anchor desk with Anchorman Mitch Rockwell, 52. Um, they both smile. Do. Also at the desk are who's the woman, the co-anchor? What's a woman's name? I don't know any women. What's a good name for a girl? Uh,
I love Barb.
Barb? Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
do we
cool.
already have a Barb in the story though?
Nope. That's our Barb.
Barbara McIntyre.
Barbara McIntyre?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also haven't watched the latest season of Stranger Things, but if Barb doesn't come back at the end to save everybody, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I watched it. Uh, it's only 4 episodes and it's pretty
Oh,
good.
cool.
Yeah, it's only four so far, and the rest of them are coming out on Christmas, I think. It was pretty good. Um, except that they're all grown now.
I was
There's
like, they should have already ended this if for no other reason, just the logistics of those aren't kids anymore.
I am a real firm believer that if you don't have everything figured out before you start, don't go over 3 seasons on your show.
Mhm.
Don't. And if it's just a regular show, 5 seasons is pretty much going to do it. I also think you should not play James Bond more than 3 times, because that's going to be 10 or 11 years. It's like, come on, move on.
Oh, great point.
Like
Yeah.
just keep him that age and don't worry
Hmm.
about making everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
stop. But that's not how television works, because the funny
Yeah.
thing is people will go, wow, they really changed it between season 2 and season 3. It's like, well, they didn't even know there was going to be a season 2 or a season 3. They started all over every season. It's not like uh, my friend that I was telling you about. What did he write? He wrote on a Disney show called Pickle and Peanut, which is an adorable show if it's still available on
Hmm.
Disney. So he wrote on this show, and he spent 6 solid months going in every day, pumping out scripts, to get the 10 episodes. But at the end of that 6 months, not even a single episode had been completed visually, just the scripts had all been finished. They turn in the last script, and it's like, okay, clean out your desk.
Yeah.
You don't work here anymore. And it's like, oh, I thought you were going to just send me down the hall to another show, and it's like, oh no, that's
Yeah.
not how. It's like all the writers are fired now because we don't need them anymore. We'll just put the show together. So yeah, when people complain about changes between seasons, it's like, yeah, they didn't know they were coming back. So also at the desk are co-host, co-anchor Barb McIntyre, who is a little bit of eye candy. So how old is she? Let's say 32.
Although I feel like those anchors are either really young or really old. They look like they're fresh out of college, or like you're going to have to pry them off that desk with a crowbar.
Yeah, that's where, Mitch is 52. And it's like,
Hmm.
this is it for me, If I'm not in New York by now, I'm okay. So I've got Troy is 27 or 28. Let's make Barb like 32.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to mix up my age groups. Weatherman, Weatherman. What's our weatherman's name? Meteorologist. How about meteorologist?
Dirk Dinkley. What's a good
Meteorologist.
meteorologist name? Actually, I've been watching this adorable kids show with my daughter called The Weather Hunters. It's Al Roker's kids show.
Oh, how funny.
Um, yeah, like I think it's fantastic that he's doing it, but it makes you realize like the talent that voice actors, specifically voice actors in children's cartoons have,
Right.
because he is Al Roker. He's Al
Right.
Roker's voice.
Yeah.
And it's like it would have almost been better, and I know it sounds like sacrilege, but to take his voice, put it in like an AI model, and let a voice actor perform the character with his voice, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I
instead
get
of,
it. Because there's a
hey,
difference
kids.
between announcing the weather and acting, because it still
Yeah.
requires acting for a structured show. I get it. I think it's a real drag that we want celebrities to do voices for cartoons anymore.
Hmm.
Like I want more
Dude, it's
Mel
like
Blancs,
every overnight Fox cartoon show is just like, here's 20 voice actors that are really just comedians you love. And
Right.
then some of them hit, some of them don't get a chance.
I love how they did SpongeBob though. I really I think we're
Oh, yeah.
already looking at SpongeBob like, oh my God, how did this even happen?
You
Like,
know, I was at an age when that came out to where like I felt too cool for it, I guess. And
yeah.
I've since looked back and been like, oh my God, the voice talent, the like level of weirdness to it, like it really is probably more like Ren and Stimpy than I ever wanted to give it credit for back then.
And people don't give
And I,
Ren and Stimpy enough credit for being the ground zero for crazy ass animation. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
The Simpsons too, of course. Like people just take The
Mhm.
Simpsons for granted now, but it's like, wow, The Simpsons were a revolution, and they're still killing it, man. They're still
Yep.
killing it. A lot of people have left it behind, and I'm like, you're making a mistake. That's still a joke factory. And they,
You know, I hate that the Sunday night appointment television doesn't exist the way it used to because that used to be one of my favorite things
uh
about there's one thing about watching Simpsons syndicated, which is great, but it's like seeing that Sunday night episode like right after football or whatever was on was a really fun experience when that
yeah,
was still the norm.
and it was The Simpsons, and then Family Guy, and
Hmm. Or the
what else?
critic back in
The
the day.
Critic. Oh my God, The
Yeah.
Critic. Critic rings so true now. How about Larry Cirrus? Like, let's name him after a cloud. Let's just totally go with
Oh
it.
yeah.
And then let's make him 45. 45. I would say bald. He's the weatherman. He's got to be bald. 45, bald. And what's a good like jock name for a sportscaster?
Oh, what was I almost said what was Johnny Football's name? Johnny,
Yeah, like
a good
some
jock name,
like a nickname,
Glenn,
like like uh like uh
Pat.
like workhorse or like what's a
Uh-huh. Oh, the bullet.
the bullet. Bullet.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh that's great. How about Bullet Bob? Oh, not another Mackenzie. Let's see.
Stern,
Bullet Bob.
Stein,
Bull, Bullet Bob. Or how about
Sanchez.
yeah, that's a good idea. Bullet Bob. How about Bullet Rock Sanchez?
What we're in the
Or just Bullet. How
Midwest
about Bullet
or
Sanchez? Let's just call him.
Arkansas. He would be a could be a Hispanic guy or a Latinx guy.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I like that idea. I yeah, yeah, let's do that. So let's go. Maybe how about Bullet Sanchez and sportscaster, sportscaster Bobby Bullet. Oh, let's caps it, all caps.
Bobby the Bullet.
Bobby the. Do I need? Yeah, I better put that. And how old is he?
That's your young. Oh, actually, I guess if you're reliving the glory days, you got some age on you. Maybe throw
Yeah.
him in the 38 to 42
Okay.
range.
Okay. How about just late 30s?
There you go.
Yeah, late 30s. all in K-Arc Blazers. Um, so Mitch, they both smile. Um, they both smile. They're waiting on a cue. They both smile and smile, eyes on producer. Who is their producer? He's on. He's not on. Nah. They both smile, eyes on their producer. Off screen. Let's. Who's their producer?
Um, they all have cool names. The producer's got to have a weak name. John Smith, like or Ted
Um,
Bradley.
right. Ted would be. Yeah. Who's somebody you like that you want to use their name? How about Kevin?
Oh,
How about a Kevin? Kevin's a good name.
that works.
Kevin Otto. That was a guy I was in the army with. It
There we go.
was just such a Kevin Otto. Hello, Kevin Otto.
Kevin 11.
Kevin 11. Kevin, how will we put that? Kevin 11 Otto.
That's okay. 7-Eleven. That's I was being a little cheeky.
Oh, we got fucking 11 with yeah, well, how about just Kevin Otto?
Yeah, that works.
Otto. And he's like 28, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, 28. They watch producer Kevin Otto, 28. Um, Kevin is, what is he doing?
Pulling his hair out.
Kevin wears headphones, holds holds an iPad, holds an Kevin wears headphones, holds an iPad, and moves. And what's the word? Circumscribes stage left. Is that the word? Or paces stage left.
There you go. Yeah.
Kevin wears headphones, holds an iPad, paces stage left. Kevin signals. Kevin counts down 3, 2, boom. 3, 2, point. Welcome back. Welcome back, Fayetteville. I don't know who has to say that. I haven't watched real news in so long.
Oh, they would start with something like um this hour, you know, we take you to a blah 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 blah. Or
Well, he's got
tonight at
him. He's
9.
got the guy with him behind the desk. Like
Hmm.
that's a big deal that they brought in the field guy to be behind the desk to introduce the scene. How about we got a special treat for you tonight, folks?
There you go.
How about to camera? to floor camera. We have a special treat for you tonight, folks. How about this evening? Because it's a fight. It's not tonight yet. We have a special Troy here. You know Troy, our Wonder Boy Troy.
Kill it.
Troy West was a guy I used to work with at Dell. It's just such a great name, and he looked
A good
like
one.
he was a sales guy. Our Wonder Boy
Hmm.
Troy literally just ran into our station building with footage from today's total eclipse. I know. Okay. How many says total eclipse? Okay. We have a special treat for you this evening, folks. Our Wonder Boy Troy literally just ran into our station building with footage from today's total eclipse. Not the limited, not the limited eclipse we saw saw from here, but totality as seen only in a 20. Here's a little bit of this is what they call hanging. Hey, everybody. When somebody kind of stops the action to explain something, they call that
Hmm.
hanging a lantern on something. Thing is, a news guy, this isn't an unrealistic thing, but it's like, let's say it's Stranger Things, and the boys are all on their bikes, and it's in the dark, and then one of them goes, "Hey, this is kind of crazy. We're looking for a monster in the dark on our bikes, and we're just kids." What? It's like they probably would, nobody would really say that, but the audience would be thinking that. And that's a way of letting the audience know, yeah, this is, we know, we know.
Hmm.
This is for exposition reasons. So, not the limited eclipse we saw from here. How about, yeah, limited eclipse we saw from here. Partial. Not the partial eclipse we saw from here, but but the but the totality. How about but the total eclipse, a totality, a bona fide totality as seen only in a 20-mile. Some people don't like you to spell out words. They'll tell you to use numbers. I don't like that. I'll number something with numbers, but if it's in dialogue, I spell out what I want the actor to say. I want the character to say. Um, your mileage may vary, but I just think it looks better. As in a 20-mile stretch, and that's in here. So what was the okay? So watch. Sorry, everybody. This is what it's like. Um,
Danger.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Hmm.
It's I put that it's like it was from Missouri. It was from Oregon to Missouri. A 20-mile stretch. You can always correct it. Don't need to get bogged down. Uh, but I did the research to write the story. So it's in there. A 20-mile stretch, slanting down from Missouri to, no, from Oregon. I think it was from Oregon to Mississippi. I do want to get that right. Sorry.
No, no worries.
Total eclipse. This eclipse was going to be visible from anywhere in North America, but the totality, the science book illustration of what a solar eclipse is supposed to look like, would only be visible from within a 20-mile band that arched across the continent from Alabama to Oregon. I'm going to put that. We saw from here, but the total eclipse, a bona fide total. Let's leave that one out. But the total eclipse. But the total eclipse was only visible in a 20-mile arc, 20-mile wide from Alabama to Oregon. We have a special treat for you this evening, folks. Our Wonder Boy Troy, literally, our Wonder Boy Troy here, literally just ran into our station building with footage from today's total eclipse. Not the partial eclipse we saw from here, but the total eclipse was okay. From today's eclipse. How about from today's eclipse? Not the partial, not the partial. Do I repeat eclipse or not the partial view we got? Not the partial view we got. We got in Fayetteville. It's the other thing. Remind people where they are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the total eclipse visible only, but the total eclipse, which was
I'm going to run to the bathroom real fast. Be right back.
From Alabama to Oregon. Troy, I have never had the privilege of seeing such a cosmic miracle. In all my 52 years. Okay. We have a special treat for you this evening, folks. Our Wonder Boy Troy here literally just ran into our station building with footage from today's eclipse. Not the partial we got in Fayetteville, but the total eclipse, which was only visible in a 20-mile swath from Alabama to Oregon. Troy, I have never had the privilege of seeing seeing such a cosmic miracle in all my 52 years, and you got to witness one today. Tell us about it. True. Okay. In my notes, I have cut to news story with quotes and footage. Troy in the studio behind the news desk. Anchor and crew want details. They compliment him on the story. Troy says, "That's all Joel. Where's Joel?" Okay, so that's going to be the plan. We're gonna get to talking about Joel, but you know what? This might be a good place to because I don't have the quotes and I'm not ready to. How about he says? How about Troy says? Oh, you are in for a treat. You're right there. You are in for a treat. You're in for a treat yourself, Mitch. Oh, now this is where Troy is very slick. Troy is super cool on camera, but he's just kind of a goober behind the scenes. You are in for a treat, Mitch. It was a miracle. I've seen eclipses on TV, but in person, it was kind of a miracle. It was a kind of miracle. Boom. Okay, that's 6 pages. So that we made it to 6.
Oh, yeah.
We have a special treat for everybody tonight, everybody. This is I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited to do this. Um, if you are familiar with C. Robert Cargill, he is an Austinite. I've known him for, I don't know, 25 years probably. He wrote what has been declared the scariest movie ever made, as far as scares per minute, Sinister. That was his first movie, and he wrote Doctor Strange, which is one of the best Marvel movies. And he's written several novels, Angels and Demons, Sea of Rust. I might have that wrong. Anyway, I'm a fan and a great admirer of him. He works his ass off, and he took time out of his busy day to answer 3 questions for me. I came up with 3 questions that I want to ask screenwriters because I think they're good questions to they've been met with pretty good responses. So without further ado, I'm going to play this clip. This is our first special guest star. So here we go. Let me make this big and boop. So if we can start, can you identify yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm C. Robert Cargill, author and screenwriter of such films as Sinister, Doctor Strange, and the Black Phone series.
Pretty great, big successes, and your books are great too. So I have 3 questions for you as a screenwriter. Interpret them how you will, but they're worded specifically. Based on the screenplay, what is your favorite movie?
Casablanca.
There you go.
Casablanca is just a perfect screenplay.
For what it's worth, that's what JV said too.
Well, I mean, it just really is. In fact, if you watch the new Linklater's new movie, Blue Moon, has the character Hart, played by Ethan Hawke, and he's just going on and on about it as a writer, talking about the brilliance of the movie, and he's talking about the little bits of the movie that people don't talk about. Like there's this great moment where he says, "What's the best line in Casablanca?" And it's not any of them that everybody thinks about. It's not, the problems of the few people amount to a hill of beans in this world, or here's looking at you, kid, or play it again, Sam. His favorite line in the movie is, no one ever loved me that much.
Oh.
Because there's just so much, she's like, do you know what it's like to love somebody and yada 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 and have that Claude Rains just goes, no one ever loved me that much. And like it tells you so much about that character and so much about that moment, and the entire movie's full of those gems.
Yeah, I fully concur. Fully concur. Number two, what is something you wish somebody would have told you?
Wow. The thing that it took me the longest to learn is that low daily, and I say this a lot on social media, but it really is the biggest lesson I learned, that low daily goals for writing are significantly better than lofty goals. That a lot of times you'll run into writers who are like, oh, I write 2,000 to 3,000 words a day. And then you start to compare yourself to that, and then you don't hit that one day, and you're like, well, I'll catch up tomorrow. And now all of a sudden you got 4,000 words to write that day and you get nothing done. And then eventually you start dreading sitting down to write. And what I discovered is when you have a small amount of, I set 3 pages. I got to write 3 pages in a given day. If I hit my 3 pages, I'm done. I can go about my day. I could keep writing. If the spirit has taken me and I'm flying, I'll write 10, 20 pages, but I don't have to. I write 3. And I know that I chose 3 because I can write 3 pages in under an hour. And so anytime I get to sit down and do a day's work in under an hour, oftentimes that incentivizes you to get that work done as soon as possible. So it's like, well, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I don't have anything till like 4. Why don't I sit down and write now? Just knock this out and then the rest of the day is mine. And then you find that once you get that started, you get into it. You're not procrastinating anymore, and you're just writing, which is your favorite part, and it's all coming out. And then the next thing you know, you're 5, 6 pages in. You're like, well, that's good for the day, and now you've done 2 days worth of work. But you never let that carry over. The next day, 3 pages, and you don't compare yourself to the previous day. I've had 30-page days, and the next day you write 3 pages. That's it. That's all you have to do. And by doing that, you always have forward momentum going. You always feel like you've gotten work done. That that drip, drip, drip adds up. 3 pages a day is 15 pages in a week. And if I hit the bare minimum every day, that's a script done in 6 weeks. And 12 weeks is the industry standard for a script to put in. So that is a great pace to do that. But it always goes faster. So you get it done in 5. Unless it's a tough script that you're rewriting and things aren't working, that's where you get that extra space. So that's what I wish people had told me, because I spent way too many years binge writing and then going days without being able to write. And once I started doing this, I've just been plowing through scripts.
Well, let me tag on that for a second, if you don't mind, and just say that when I had Twitter, I followed you on Twitter, and you always drove that home. You would drive, and this was years ago when I had Twitter, and that was key to figuring out the structure of writing Is Dangerous, and it would be 3 to 5, just because sometimes you just want to finish a scene, know. But I took that from you before I even started screenwriting, when I was still working on prose. So that's a lesson that I have listened when somebody told me that, I listened.
Yeah, it just
changes told me.
It changes your whole work-life balance. Like all of a sudden you feel fulfilled every day because you got your work done and you're really pushing the ball forward. You never feel guilty, and it's just good for your mental health, which mental health is so essential for screenwriting.
Yeah.
If you're not in the right place, you're not going to get your best writing. And so it just creates this thing that really works.
Yeah. Thanks. That's a great answer. And then the third one, money is no object, lawyers are no object. What is your fantasy IP interpretation?
Fantasy IP interpretation. That's a really tough one. I mean, I would love to. I mean, honestly, the answer is day zero. I would love to make my own book. I'm very proud of that book. I think it would make a great movie. That's one. That's what I would choose. Outside of that, in terms of the sexier answer that people would recommend, I would love to do a Dungeons and Dragons movie. Like that would be really great. I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons nerd. I love the IP. I play the game weekly, sometimes 2 or 3 times weekly. It's really I'm sitting here on my desk and I've just gotten new minis in the mail. So I that it's my thing. So I would absolutely love to write a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
That's great. That's really great. Any angle that you would take on it that you want to share?
I mean, I would love to make a horror movie. Like, one of the things that has been kind of abandoned by a lot of modern interpretations of Dungeons and Dragons and the way it's played is it's much more seen as much more high fantasy and, goofy and fun. And, it's elves and humans and dwarves all running around and killing dragons. And it's very Lord of the Rings. But in its early iteration, it was very much survival horror. You went into a dark place that hasn't been opened in 1,000 years, and you've got just the light of your torch, and there are horrible monsters and horrible ways to die. And the original Dungeons and Dragons from '74 into the '80s, before it started kind of evolving in a new direction, it was the video game we played when we didn't have complicated video games. When video games were, this game came out, D&D came out the same year as Pong. So your options were you could play a computer game where you knock a ball back and forth with your friend, or you could play this game where you go into deep dungeons and fight dragons and disrupt ancient plots to summon demons and all this, all these things that we now have video games for. But that all came from Dungeons and Dragons. And so, but that initial game was, in a video game sense, the goal was to get as far as you could. It wasn't about telling some big epic narrative. It was about staying alive for as long as you could, because there's so many things out in the world there to kill you. And they created so many great, scary, terrifying monsters that don't work in terms of modern horror storytelling. You can't have a rust monster come out and scare people because, oh my God, it's eating my armor. It just ate my car. Oh no. It's like, shoot it. Oh, it's dead. Good. Done. End of movie. So it doesn't really work in that context. But there's some really great monsters that really would be great on the screen in terms of fantasy. And I think there's a big space for fantasy horror right now. And I would love to do it that way. That's great. Well, thank you so much. Anything you want to add to any of that? Anything you want to? No. If you like these answers, you can check out my latest book, All the Ash We Leave Behind, where you can get on audiobook or physically from Subterranean Press. You can check out my latest movie, Black Phone 2, which is still in theaters at the moment. I don't know when this is going up, but is also available for rental already. And you can see my latest short story in an anthology in the Stephen King anthology, The End of the World as We Know It, which is Stories from the Stand. You can find my story in there. That's terrific, man. Congratulations on everything, and thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Good to see you. Good seeing you, Johnny. Okay. See you later. All right. Bye. Was that cool or what? Wait.
Right.
Oh,
No, that was great answers.
I know. That's exactly what I thought. It was like, he couldn't have been cooler. That was like, whew, I think he liked the questions too. I think he liked me. I live for the approval of people that are successful. All right. I hope everybody liked that. I hope that gets our numbers up, for that matter.
I think you could also post that as its own little thing on the side, just clip it down.
Yeah.
But maybe wait a week and then do that. But yeah, no, that was a great addition to this.
Yeah. So we should have JVs ready next week, and then the other one. And maybe I can get somebody else. I know some people. I had one for a guy that I admire greatly, and it didn't record, so I'm not going to say his name. It turned out I hit, again, it was an iPhone thing. So let's go back to the top and let's read what we wrote. Okay, let's go to that dirty old title page. Totality, written by Johnny Neal and Kyle Scott, based on Totality by Johnny Neal. And then boop. Exterior KARK Fayetteville TV station parking lot. Night. Joel Kittredge, 38, male, talks to the camera equipment as he loads it into his news van. Joel, batteries charged? Check. Muffs for the mics? Check. Mics have muffs. SIM cards. External drive. Hot shoe? Check, check, check. Joel checks his watch. A solar-powered satellite wave GPS digital G-Shock. Rugged. Watch face reads 4:56:12, 8/22/2017. Headlights sweep across Joel and the van as the zippy sedan pulls into the parking lot. The car parks next to Joel. Out hops Troy West, 28, male, a handsome segment reporter. He holds a flat box of donuts, a 32-ounce KARK insulated mug, and his Channel 37 KARK blazer on a wooden hanger. Troy's own smiling face is blown up on the side of the van. Troy, I'm not late, am I, boss? I told you, talent, you're never late when you bring the donuts. The Astro engineers said this shindig starts at 12:45. Pack it up, boss. We're burning daylight. Troy opens the passenger door and steps into his seat. He hangs the jacket on a hook. He pops the donut box open. Joel slides the side door shut and climbs behind the wheel. Interior, exterior, the van in the parking lot, continuous. The cab, I should say day, or no, that's okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. The cab light shuts off as Joel shuts the door. Oh yeah, it's continuous. Duh. He starts the van. He sips from his own KARK mug. He grabs a donut. Burning daylight. Listen to you. Joel puts a donut in his mouth and steps on the gas. Interior van, day. The two cruise the state highway in morning traffic. I'm pretty excited to cover this total eclipse. I've seen a handful of partials, but never a totality, solar or lunar. Troy, you can watch the last one on my phone. It's going to look the same. Troy holds the phone up at Joel. The screen shows the solar eclipse. The sun is a black circle with a glowing corona. You're going to go blind. Joel waves the phone away and reaches for a fresh donut. Exterior, Katy Depot, day. I'll leave it for now. You're going to go blind. I feel like that needs a little fluff. Exterior, Katy Depot Day. The Katy Depot is in Sedalia, Missouri. The wide space is filled with people of all ages in many separate groups. The parking lot is surrounded by school buses and RVs. A hippie drum circle beats a steady thrum under the occasion. A middle-aged men with telescopes talk to whoever will listen. Interior, van, day, continuous. Looks like the word got out. This is going to make for a great story. Look at all these people. Exterior, Katy Depot parking lot. Joel parks the van in a row with other news vans. Joel checks his watch. Watch face reads 9:35:17. You need me, boss? I'm going to go find some faces while you set up. Troy slips into his blazer, checks his teeth in the mirror. Go butter up those hippie girls over there, talent. Find me a poet. Good angle, boss. Troy walks into the crowd. Other news teams jockeying for their positions. Joel sets up a second camera on a tripod. Katy parking lot, later. The crowd is fuller. Soap bubbles float overhead. Little girls wave multicolored ribbon wands. Joel is ready. Camera on his shoulder. He aims at Troy. Troy, it continued into handheld mic. Sibilance, mic check 2, mic check 3. How we sounding, cameraman? How we sounding? Lima Charlie, talent. Lima Charlie, you look really good in this light. I look good in any light. So does your mom. Hello, Fayetteville. I'm talking to you from Sedalia, Missouri, so that we can bring the solar eclipse totality to you. A voice shouts over the din in the crowd. It's starting. Joel looks at his watch. Watch face reads 12:45:25. The crowd goes quiet. Cardboard viewing contraptions are raised. Welding hoods drop. Couples hold hands. How about adults lift their kids? Because I already said raise. Lift their kids to sit on their shoulders. The air is electric. Intercut between the phases of the eclipse and the faces. How about eclipse phases between eclipse phases and bright and wide faces.
Yeah.
Wide open faces. Eclipse phases and wide open faces. That's better. The eclipse is seen through dark glass. The moon is a small bite out of a bright white circle. The bite grows. Soon the sun is completely covered by the moon. The corona glows hot. Joel presses the timer function of his watch. Watch face reads 1:51:51. The sky goes dark. The cicadas go quiet. The crowd is in awe. Joel raises a welding glass lens from his shirt pocket. The corona reflects off the welding glass. Joel drops the glass from his eyes for a second. The watch face flickers. Joel repeats this action. The watch flickers again. Watch face flashes and goes blank silver. The moon slides off the circle of the sun. The false night gives way to afternoon light. The crowd erupts into applause. Noisemakers and party horns sound like New Year's Eve. Strangers hug each other. Gotta say, this might be a place to say series of shots, right? That might be a thing instead of haircut. It might be a place to say a series of shots. In fact, let me put that. Shot, series of shots. There. Yeah, I feel better about that. Watch face reads 1:51:51. The sky goes dark. The cicadas go quiet. The crowd is in awe. Joel, blah, blah, blah. Already got that. The crowd erupts into applause. Noisemakers and party horns sound like New Year's Eve. Strangers hug each other. Interior of the van, day. Troy drives. Joel sits on the floor and back with headphones and laptop. Event footage plays fast forward on screen. Troy, your hand was your hand was way up my okay. Okay. Well, just leave the okay off. Yeah, that's it. Your hand was way up my ass back there, boss, so make me sound smart. Joel pulls his headphones, let's say down. Joel pulls his headphones down, annoyed. What? Troy, just asking how it's going, boss. Joel looks at the blank-faced watch. He presses all the buttons, shakes his wrist, holds the watch to his ear. Damn it. Exterior, KARK, Fayetteville TV station parking lot, day. The van screeches to a halt in front of the main doors. Joel jumps out with his laptop and satchel. He runs inside. Interior, KARK studio, day, continuous, hallway. Joel hustles down a hallway to a control room, runs through the door. The engineers free a seat for him. Screens flicker. Joel plugs in a drive. KARK newsroom, day. Troy stands behind the anchor desk with anchorman Mitch Rockwell, 52. They watch producer Kevin Otto, 28. Kevin wears headphones, holds an iPad, paces stage left. Also at the desk are co-anchor Barb McIntyre, 32, meteorologist Larry Cirrus, 45, bald, sportscaster Bobby the Bullet Sanchez, late 30s, all in KARK blazers. Kevin counts down 3, 2, point, Mitch, to floor camera. We have a special treat for you this evening, folks. Our Wonder Boy Troy here literally just ran into our station building with footage from today's eclipse. Not the partial we got here in Fayetteville. We got here in Fayetteville, but the total eclipse, which was only visible in a 22-mile, which was, oh, well, whatever. I'll fix that later. We'll type it, which was only visible in a 22-mile swath from Alabama to Oregon. Troy, I have never had the privilege of seeing such a cosmic miracle in all my 52 years, and you got to witness one today. Tell us about it. You're in for a treat, Mitch. I've seen eclipses on TV, but in person, it was a kind of miracle. All right, we made it to 6 pages, man. We made it. That's 3 pages a week. That's 2. We did it. We did it, Cargill.
Hell yeah.
We're following your prescription. We did it. We did it. Woohoo! That feels pretty good. And then I'll do a little homework for next week. I'll get some quotes. You can look up some stuff, we can kind of compare notes. It was funny when I did the search before, there were a couple that were pretty good, and then they would just go back to who was the guy, the Neil deGrasse Tyson. It would be the same Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about how that everything is synced up, and it's like, yeah, you're being all mathy. I want to hear it the other way. So yeah, so I'm gonna stop share, and then that's gonna be us up here, and so we'll be back next week at the same bat time, same bat channel. You got anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about right quick?
No, we covered all that at the top of the show.
I know,
But
but it's been 2 hours. Things could change. You could remember stuff. I love that interview
yeah,
with Cargill, man. I feel so good about that. I feel like that really
agreed.
elevates the show. And it was really cool talking to him. So yeah, that was great. Uh let's get ready to wrap it up, everybody. Thanks for watching. This will be posted. It'll be nice. The live stream went out. Tomorrow we'll post this under the playlist on Writing is Dangerous. So episode 5. Is that episode 5? Yeah, we're episode 5. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
so.
Kyle. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Boom. Right
you're
on.
welcome. Thank you. Have a
Okay.
great night.
You too, man. Good night. Farewell, everybody. Peace out. And don't forget, writing is dangerous.